Welcome, friends. Welcome back to the kitchen. Welcome back to Sunday morning and the old cookbook show. Today we're going to do a recipe out of this, the cookie book. This was sent in by a viewer. Thank you so much for sending this in. This is a fantastic, fantastic little cookbook. It is nothing but cookies and bars. Cookies, bars, and sweets. Jam-packed, and the recipes are all over the map. I'm really enjoying flipping through this. The one that we're going to make today sort of caught my eye. It's called Chocolate Crispies. It is essentially, at its core, a brownie recipe. Although it has a very low flour amount, it is also a brownie recipe that doesn't have any leavening in it, which is fairly common in brownies. Now, a brownie is a fairly standard thing, but it's the method of cooking this that has intrigued me. So, into the stand mixer, we have butter. In goes some white sugar, and that gets creamed together. While that's creaming together, I need to melt this chocolate. I'm going to do that in the microwave inside. Okay, melted chocolate. Now, I'm going to turn this off and scrape in the chocolate. 2 ounces of chocolate. Usually with a brownie, of course, you're melting the chocolate and the butter together. You're not creaming the butter and sugar. So that's going to give us a slightly different texture to the finished product. Little changes like that, it's amazing how little changes like that can affect your texture. So back in, turn that back on, mix it well. Next in are 2 eggs. Now the recipe tells me to beat the eggs before I put them in, but because I'm using this stand mixer, pop the eggs in one at a time. It will beat them really well. And the second egg, in it goes. A little bit of vanilla. There we go. Mixture's coming together great. It says next to put in the salt. It doesn't say anything about mixing the salt and the flour together first. So I'm going to put that in and then spoon in the flour. It is asking for cake flour. So this is where it starts to differ slightly from a regular brownie. I'm supposed to bake it in 2 buttered 7 by 11 pans, buttered with parchment paper. Actually, it says wax paper. I didn't have wax paper. I'm sure parchment paper will be just fine. I'm supposed to split the batter between these 2 pans, which is going to give me an incredibly thin layer. I guess that's why they're called Crispies, because this should bake up really crisp. So I'll get in there with an offset spatula and even that out. Okay, all smoothed out. That's really good. So it tells me now to sprinkle chopped nuts on top. And I'm supposed to bake this in a moderately slow oven. And then it says in parentheses 325. So even though this book is printed in 1941, and gas and electric ovens with regulators, temperature control, have been on the market for ages at this point, or what would seem like ages, there would still be a lot of people in 1941 cooking in ovens that didn't have temperature regulation. So that old habit of saying hot, moderately cool, fast oven, slow oven, all of that terminology from, quote unquote, the olden days still hangs on in 1941. So here we go. Pop this into the oven, and it doesn't say how long though, just the temperature.
Hi, Glenn.
Hey, Jules.
Hey, friends. Ooh, I'm always excited to see something that looks like cookies or bars.
Chocolate Crispies.
Chocolate Crispies. It sounds great.
So let's dig in, because
Okay, so not crispy.
kind of crispy, a little bit, but
The
not really.
nuts are crunchy, but I was expecting it to snap when you said crispy. That's okay. It's like a little thin brownie.
It's just, that's all it is.
It's a wafer-thin brownie.
It is just a wafer-thin brownie. But there's something about being wafer-thin that really changes the texture. Mm-hmm. Not cakey.
No, it's definitely more fudgy.
Fudgy.
But it has... Sorry. I just keep throwing it in my mouth.
100% dangerous.
No, it has all those joyous flavors of a brownie.
So I cooked them for about 12 minutes. Maybe a little bit longer.
You could. They might be crunchier.
Might be crispier.
But then they might be drier.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's something to play with because it doesn't give any indication of what to do.
Oh, you're right. I still want another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad.
Totally bad. Okay, so this is really good. And I, looking at the other brownie recipes on the page, you could take any brownie recipe, split it between two thin pans, or put it in a quarter sheet or a half sheet. A half sheet. That's a half sheet. Fill that half sheet, spread it really thin, and it's going to bake up like that. The crushed pecans on top are really nice. Okay, so thanks for stopping by. I would definitely give this a shot. See you again soon.